Hello, everybody. We are joined by head basketball coach Jeff Linder. We're going to have some questions from fans out there, Coach, and we really appreciate you being on with us. We're going to start from Twitter at TommyT_25. Who influenced you the most as you have risen in your coaching career?
Well, Tommy T, that is it's a good question. I could go down a long list of people that have helped me get to this point. I've already kind of in previous interviews talked about just the people that I worked for at the previous places. But I think, two people that I really haven't mentioned a lot that really had an influence on me early in my career before I got into coaching was my high school coach, Mike Taylor, who coached me at Northland High School for 2 years, who was before being a high school coach, he was a college coach at Northern Colorado, Colorado College. And so he really treated the high school program like a college program. And he was the one that probably was the first one during the summertime when we used to do summer camp for the little kids. It said, hey, you're going to be a coach one day. And so I never forgot that. And then my varsity high school assistant coach, John Olander, who had played at the University of Northern Colorado for Mike Taylor, who had joined him after he was done playing. And so he'd make the commute down to Greeley to coach us. And then Coach Olander just, he was a little bit, closer in age. And so we used to play one-on-one all the time after practice. And I knew at some point if I could beat him, I'd have a chance to play in college. And then he's someone who I've really grown close to. He'll be definitely making his way up the road on I-25 to watch the Cowboys play.
Okay, our next question comes from Facebook. John Onesto. What goes into scheduling and what type of teams would you like to attract to Laramie?
Well, if you'd ask my assistant coach, Coach DeWeese, who's in charge of scheduling, that's the one task that every assistant coach kind of runs from. They know how hard it really is. At one point, people used to say there's more cheating going on in scheduling than there is in recruiting. It's really difficult, and especially when you're at a place like the University of Wyoming where people know it's a very hard place to play, and especially because of the elevation. That 72-20 really scares a lot of people off, and so we just we want to try to schedule the best teams that we possibly can, but also too the reality of it is some of those teams that people want to really see, well, guess what? They never leave home to play a road game during the non-conference. I mean, you go look at, some of the Power Five, the blue blood schools. You go look at their non-conference schedule, and you're going to see a lot of home games mixed in with a couple neutral site games. And so, as I said, as soon as we can get our NCAA net score up to where, they said those teams see that, hey, we're a top 50 team in the country. Now we got a little bit better chance of getting those guys to come and play on the road at the AA.
All right, our next one from Facebook, Katie Klein, and this is one we're all going to be working on. How do you plan on getting fans back into the AA?
The plan is to put a really good team on the floor, a team ultimately that's going to produce and win games. I mean, that's as fans. That's what they want to see. I mean, they want to see a winner on the floor. And I do think that, with the players that I was able to keep along with the new players, I really do think that we have an opportunity to really cause some noise next year. And I'm not just saying that for the sake of saying that. I didn't say that when I first got the job at the University of Northern Colorado, but I do really believe with the talent that we have on the roster, kind of where the Mountain West is at. The Mountain West is taking some hits here in the off season with some players that have declared for the draft. And so I do think that we can really compete year one in the Mountain West and win games. And I think with winning comes the fans. And if we can get the fans back, it just creates the biggest home court advantage in the Mountain West.
This is a question also from Facebook, a very good fan, Marcus Johnson. He wants to know when season tickets are going on sale, and he wants you to know that he's all in for next year.
Well, I'm glad to hear that, Marcus, that you're all in. And as soon as I know I'm sure you can call right now and buy season tickets. And so the sooner the better. Hopefully, we'll know here sooner or later if we're actually going to have a season, which I think we will. But in the meantime, just stay put, and I'm sure we'll be having an announcement here pretty soon about when we can get season tickets.
There's another great fan, Sue Nelson. This is a good question, Coach. What is a preferred walk-on versus a walk-on?
Good. That's a good question. It's really one and the same, but kind of a preferred walk-on is somebody that you actually recruited, and we won't go into all the NCAA bylaws regarding preferred walk-on, not a preferred walk-on, but the thing that I really took advantage of in Northern Colorado is the ability to attract some really good to walk-on players. My 3 guards this past season at Northern Colorado were all former walk-ons. And so at the University of Wyoming, I do think you can attract some good players. I think those spots are really valuable. We really try to find guys that have some upside, maybe some guys that maybe might be a little younger for their class, guys that really want to prove that they can play Division I. In the case of a couple guys that we've gotten to be preferred walk-ons, they've had full ride Division II scholarships to some really good NCAA Division II programs, but they wanted the opportunity to try to prove themselves at the Division I level. And so I think we really did that with the one walk-on that we got coming in. I know the fans know Hayes, and Hayes has proved himself in games last year. I mean, I remember watching the CSU game from home, and he was making 2 or 3 threes in the first half of that game against Colorado State. And played some meaningful minutes too in the Mountain West Conference tournament. And so walk-ons know with me, and it's the reason why we can get good ones, is I'm going to play whoever I feel is the best players and whoever gives us the best chance to win. That doesn't matter if you're a walk-on or a scholarship player. If I feel like in my mind that you give us the best chance to win, I'm going to play you. And that's kind of how we've been able to have some really good walk-ons in the past.
Wyoming head coach Jeff Linder, thanks for being with us, Coach. Keep that family safe.